I understand sexuality as a means of self expression and social interaction, but not exclusive to the act of sex in a reproductive or biological sense. Sexuality is defined by personal experiences and preferences as you go through life. One way I see sexual identities today is in the language we use to identify members of the LGBTQ community. In the article, Kimmel and Plant discuss how sexualities can be created through race, class, age, religion, and gender. In terms of how gender can impact sexuality, the authors reference a study done by Alfred Kinsey on sexual behaviors. This study ultimately debunked the Freudian idea that homosexuality was a gender disorder or a matter of inversion. Inversion is described as essentially role playing the opposite sex in terms of masculinity and femininity, and Kinsey noticed that this was not always the case. As far as personal experience goes, this article really opened my eyes to how broad of a topic sex and sexuality can be. It's interesting to reflect on my own life and try to recognize what experiences shaped my sexuality. What I find interesting about sexuality is how much of a spectrum it is and that it is ever changing. This leaves room for people to grow and find their unique sexuality. In Budnick's article, sexual fluidity is the idea that sexual desire could be situational and or change over time. I found the stories relating to mothers especially interesting because some women pushed their preferred sexuality aside because they felt like they were not good mothers if they didn't. To me, this seems like a consequence of the patriarchy and the idea that a family isn't valid without a man in the picture. Budnick's survey resulted in the discovery that sexual identity and acting on desire can intersect. Bisexuality is a good way to represent this because it is possible to be in a heterosexual relationship and still be attracted to another gender. Additionally, some participants who were also mothers described having sexual friendships, which is essentially seen as a sexual connection between two heterosexual people. This is helpful for women who still want intimacy but maybe feel unsafe with men or just want to connect with another woman for the sake of being more understood. On personal experience, my best friend since I was 15 had only heterosexual relationships until she came out as bisexual shortly after her second child was born. Maybe a year after that, she came out as lesbian and now exclusively dates women. She's an amazing mom, raising amazing kids despite not having a heterosexual relationship.